The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Rotogrip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show, this time live from our own houses as we do a end of the year review giveaway. I don't know.
All of the above. We are doing the same thing as we've done in the past with the super chats, but we've got a little bit of a twist today. During the show, if you click this link and donate to the GoFundMe for Lenny Borsch, we will also throw you in the drawing. You will be below the last person. So however many super chats we get, say there's 37 and 3 people donate to Lenny's thing, there'll be 38, 39, and 40. So I've got Lenny's thing up over here. So if you tell me that you've donated during the show, that's cool. Lenny is a huge friend of both me and Chris. He is really suffering right now with fairly aggressive cancer. All of the info is in the link. So if you click the link, I've posted it on both the YouTube and the Facebook. Let me know, and we'll add you into that drawing or random number generator for the ball of your choice. And the only rules are I'm using this year's budget, so you can't order a Summit Peak or a Absolute Power. They're the only rules because I can't order those yet, but you can't get them anyway, so whatever.
Doc with the early funny. So
yeah. So that was all. That was the twist for today. So if you would rather donate to that, do that. Let me know. I will add you in. Otherwise, fire in with the super chats at the end of the show. We will do what we've been doing. So Glenn, huge friend of the show. Happy New Year. Yep, thank you. He says, I have an exponent. Which of the current balls are in that range? Tour Dynamics, for me, fits in that ballpark.
Dynamics a little earlier.
I think that me and Chris both kind of agree that the exponent pretty much dead splits the IQ Tour and the Phase 2. Kind of Phase 2-ish core, kind of IQ Tour-ish cover. So you sort of get the best of both worlds. I know that's a little bit simplistic, but that's
I guess technically the exponent is in between the two, and then the cover wise, it's a little weaker than IQ Tour, but then it has a little bit more shape too. So a little cleaner, but flares more, and then it's less than the Phase 2, pretty much on both sides. It's kind of how I see it, but yeah.
Adam getting his super chat in early. I haven't actually seen the question, so Phase 2 if I win, of course. Okay, so Adam's calling his shot early. Marshall, nice to see you, bro. Merry New Year to you. Joe, donated to Lenny. You guys are very generous. I hope it turns out well for him. Yeah, so do we. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you. Kane, thank you.
Whoa.
They brought my attention back to this. the Beef and Barnzy show donated just before the show. So it would only let me do Venmo, so it says my name, but it was supposed to be PayPal, but I guess they don't like PayPal's money anymore. But I appreciate you, no problem. Hopefully we can get a few people donating to Lenny. And Timothy Miller said he donated. Well, that's awesome. Blue Demons, they donated also. Man, I'm really gonna have to keep up. I'm thank you for all of your generosity. I never realized so many people would go that route. So that is awesome. Christian, thank you. Yeah, this is gonna be Ryan says, I have a quick question. Reality is absolute power. No, the absolute power is going to be more Rubicon, I think. Not going to spoil it too much. Chris has a review coming. So yeah, the review will be up on Friday, so tomorrow. Yeah. But from what we've seen so far, it's going to be sort of like a cleaner, weaker cover version of those high-end balls. So Chris is frantically trying to write down all the people who have donated.
I am. I'm going to try and
yeah. So that's awesome. I can actually bring it up on the thing on the latest donations.
Okay.
Also. Terry, good morning. Matthew, not seeing many higher RG shiny balls in the lineup, so I'm wondering, are shiny higher RG balls more niche than lower RG balls? Yes, I agree with you. I'm a little concerned that we're going to run out of Revenants pretty quickly because that's really the only version of this we have right now. So I think we might end up having to circle around on high roads to fill that gap. High road pearls, etc. So
right. Yeah. I'm feeling like that maybe a cycle back around to the high roll pearl, which is a ball we haven't thrown a lot here in recent years, may have to get another real look.
Yeah. Long time listener, first time super chat. I love the show and the content. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks for being part of the show. Hello, Gaps. Overseas Jackal, Honey Badger Core, Idle H. I'm not really sure what the Idle H is. And the Perps. Isn't the Honey Badger Claw, is that blue solid one?
Honey Badger Claw was the purple one. It was it's earlier. It's solid.
Yeah. So to me, with having the idle as well, I think you look missing something in the quicker, maybe a quicker asymmetrical ball like the Virtual Energy Blackout.
Everything there's pretty smooth. For sure.
Dylan, happy holidays to you. I'm just trying to keep. It's way easier to see the super chats than it is the donations, so I bear with us.
Yeah, I'll try and keep track of the donation side of it. But Pat Brown, I saw him at the ITRC yesterday. He was the guy with the Michigan hat on. Throws are pretty good too. So I can appreciate and the work ethic down there, putting in the time. Love it.
So did we get Dylan for happy holidays? Well, if we did, happy holidays again. David, nice to join. Thanks for joining the show. Morning, gents. Chris, is your strong, medium, weak versus angular, smooth matrix? Where would you put the Journey, the Sublime, and the IQ Ruby?
The Journey would be medium control. The Sublime also in that medium control. If you put a little surface on it, it can move up to somewhat of a heavier angular ball. The IQ Ruby would be in the dry angular range, and that one hooks a bunch for a dry lane ball. So sometimes for certain players, it could even move up to the medium range.
JB says he donated.
Got it.
Thank you very much. Got a UFO alert for Christmas.
All
How does
right.
it relate? Man, that's what we would call a banger. That's a nice gift.
Yeah.
For me, UFO alert is a little earlier and a little stronger overall than the absolute. Yeah, it's just a little more hook overall. The absolute for me is it's more controllable. Shall we say? I think if you ended up adding surface to the UFO alert, it'd be quite a bit stronger than the absolute with surface. To me, I would probably be like maybe 4 and 2 left with the UFO alert off an absolute.
Yeah, it almost is in that heavy angular, even though it's shiny. A lot of time, I mean, how I used it was I took a little bit of the polish off of it and used it because it does hook. It was a pretty big ball.
Wow. Overcome by super chat. So I appreciate you guys. Good morning. Looking for a replacement for my idle Helios. What should I look at?
TNT infused.
I was thinking more of the your favorite, the Exponent. Helios was solid.
Yeah.
I think the Exponent fits that gap. Might be a little weaker, but I think you'll see more shape down lane out of the Exponent. Helios was pretty early. Kind of not so much down the lane. But yeah. 3G's B's, thanks for being part of the show again. I appreciate you. Thanks for the tip. Whoever this is, Jared Poland, why do you keep calling me on a fucking Thursday? Laz, his answer to me is, why isn't your phone on Do Not Disturb? It's probably fair. So, Laz, nice to see you. Thank you. Did you? Yeah, just to love the show. Becca. Greetings. This is definitely a Chris question. What would be a good replacement for X2 with more angular back end?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm trying to use the virtual energy blackout in that space. It's probably the closest thing we have, even though it's a little stronger. And after that, we're running into a little bit of a gap there because there's not a lot of really clean covers, that with that kind of combination at the moment. The blackout is the closest, and it is stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. No, not as yet. To be honest, they've released so many shiny balls that we haven't really had any reason to polish. If anything, we're looking to dull some of the balls we've got.
No, I got extra shine still. That's kind of what I use.
Terry Yates, thanks for the donation.
Got him.
Look at Chris. Gotta love giveaways. Well, thanks, Jason. Appreciate you. Glad this resonates with you guys. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I guess we're 13 minutes in. We're gonna have to start doing these things in a minute. Wow, so many of you guys reaching out. I appreciate it. Envy Exile. What would you recommend my second ball be? Currently a hustle, rip, and an ice. Anything stronger? Exponent might be a nice option.
Probably
Phase
one
2.
of those. Maybe one of those middle balls. Yeah. I know you're probably I assume that if rip is your biggest ball, that you're probably on the rev dominant side. So, yeah, exponent will be a little different shape off of that. You could go to one of the, a Zen Gold or something. That might be too angular, actually. You could always go to the two-handers ball himself, the Journey. That's a smoother option that will definitely be earlier than a rip. Probably where I would go with that right there.
Morning, Dan. What's going on? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Tyler Smith donated. Appreciate you guys bringing attention to the cause. Well, thank you.
Got it.
Here we go. What does this dickhead want? Stop. Nico, maybe. It's all about timing, to be honest. Chris, send me the TNT you always hated. He'd have to still have it.
Yeah, no chance. It's yeah. If my son had a boat, it would be tied to a rope somewhere inside of it.
Trying to decide out of the new balls, Journey, Infused, Sublime, just slot below my Summit, or Phase 2 and replace the Phase 5. Do have a Zen Goal label. For me, I think Sublime probably from those options.
You have 3 balls that are pretty similar, though.
Yeah. Well, he's getting rid of the Phase 5, so he's got a Summit and a Phase 2. So, I mean, it could be the Infused.
Yeah, I think I would go with Infused or Zen Gold if you're looking to get.
Well, he already has the Zen Gold label.
Oh, yeah, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Reading is hard.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Your question. For me, the Natural Pearl was a spare ball. I'm going with the thing that I hated the Natural Pearl because Jesper beat me to death with it so often that it was annoying. So
yeah, I couldn't throw that one. That was before we were cross-branded. So, but
thanks for the Magic Gem and the IQ Ruby recommendations. Been killing it. Well, that's awesome. Whoa. Oh, okay. We've got. We're just gonna have to take a time out a second. Because that just happened. Greg, thank you very much. I appreciate you. That's very kind.
Greg.
Yeah. He says, been watching you guys since the start. Can't repay the information, laughs, tips, etc. But I can buy you guys and Tina and Linda lunch. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Hopefully you win. So thanks for that. So we just had to have breaking news there. So sorry. We'll yeah, this is between the donations and everybody tipping today, this has been quite crazy. Everybody's in a good mood for Christmas. I love it.
I do. How do you guys rate the TNT Infused against Journey and Sublime? I think it's cleaner and a little more angular down lane. So,
yeah.
And as Stu is wont to say, it's a bit of a banger for him.
Yeah. Right. We're still going to do the super chats, but I've got to bring this up, otherwise we're never going to get started. So yeah. So we've got let's Global hasn't got many balls, so let's get through Global. And then we can come back to chats and people may ask questions on it. I've already done mine. For reference, we're going to give a number for these balls. For my scale and what I'm looking at, 100 isn't really achievable. It's a bit like the Dave Portnoy pizza scale. 90 is going to be an absolute banger. I would say that usable / pretty, like a ball that I would have in my bag is probably a 50. And anything under, let me just quickly look, probably anything under 40 is not necessarily my, not my jig, shall we say. So I'm on this column. Yeah, I'm first. So as I've already done this and I've got it here, I'll do mine and then Chris can think about it and come up with numbers. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Okay, so the Eternity for me is a 42. 42. I used it a couple of times and it was useful, but overall, I didn't find it to be a ball that I had a large, like there wasn't a large amount of scenarios where I would use that ball. The Eternity was really good on the first pattern at the US Open, and I used it a bit at the Masters. Now I missed the cut at the Masters, so
Ironically, I also used it at the Masters. There was a lot of them at the Masters
yeah.
this year.
Longer, thinner patterns, I felt that ball was really useful on. Pretty much everything else, I didn't find it that useful for me. Eternity Pie, so far has been fairly useful, 63. The Sublime, banger, 82. Gold Label is kind of like, meh. For me, it's okay, but not really. It's a 51. And the Exponent is good. I just haven't necessarily used it. I've also spelt it wrong. 64.
Okay.
So that was that.
Our first two numbers were, as I was going through them, my heads were going by, were pretty close. I had the Eternity at 45. I had the Eternity Pie at about 68. Sublime, about 71. I hadn't found as much of a spot for that for me. Now, this is where we differ a little bit. I had the Gold
You really
Label
like this
around 78 and trending upwards, and the Exponent at 80.
Okay. So that's the first that's the first set of balls done. So the main differences come with Gold Label and Exponent. I think
Yeah, those two are in my bag, and the Exponent is kind of the middle. That's my middle benchmark kind of ball. And then I have two Gold Labels, so I have one shiny and one dull. It's been a ball that's cleaner covers for me. I like a lot because then I can change surfaces and they still kind of do what I want them to do. So
okay.
I skew
So
more that way.
let's
All
quickly
right.
get back to super chats, and we will have another unveiling of that shortly. We'll move on to rotogrip. Jeremy, thanks for being part of the show again. Appreciate you. Don't quite see a question, so Kevin, happy holidays, gentlemen. Would it absolute power be necessary if I have an Eternity Pie? For me, it's still a bit weaker than the Eternity Pie, and it's way more rounded than the Eternity Pie. From the bits that we've used it. That question will be answered much more thoroughly tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll get to see some shots up against it. I think it's probably the closest comparison ball we have out right now. Of the ones I liked, it's the only other. It was the only other balls I was thinking about that was in my bag that that wasn't shiny, that had a similar type core. So we'll have some shots with the Pie up against the Absolute Power, and where we think about it.
Yeah. Sorry. To me, those balls aren't that close. Just for me personally. Maybe because the Absolute Power has a lot less surface also.
4,000 versus closer to 1,500. It's going to lane shine up pretty quick.
Yeah, mine was really shiny when it came out.
Yeah, and so to be closer to a Pie, I guess you could if you put more surface on it. But
got an IQ 78U. Alex Hoskins recommended laying it out with my favorite layout. I typically lay out urethanes to hook early. Have you drilled yours? Thoughts on Alex's recommendations? So I'm going to preface this by explaining that Alex is massively more smart than me. And I think that Alex would almost certainly win if we had a all manufacturers ball designer shootout. him and Billy Olakowski are both excellent bowlers. I'd still take Alex for 500.
Maybe Alex now for sure.
Yes.
So.
That being said, I use the layout that I used on the IQ tours. I find that I have to use a layout a little stronger on IQ tours than I do my favorite layouts, simply because the diff is about half of what it is on the other balls. So yes, I use my favorite layout from the IQ Tour series. I don't think that you necessarily want to make this ball hook early like you did the pitch black. I think it's going to pick up enough kind of by itself anyway. I've only drilled one so far. I kind of like the shape it had, so I haven't really been in a rush to drill another one. My concern with drilling it as strong as I was drilling pitch blacks is that core is so low RG in comparison and a little bit more diff that I think I just think it's going to make it hook so early and bail. So yes, I would somewhat agree with what Alex has said for sure. Jason says feels like this is the Madden rating of balls. Yeah, we're trying something different. Like,
yeah, we may upset some ball designers here as well.
Let's quickly fire back through. Starting to think about my Arsenal for nationals. Damn. But don't love it. Thoughts. Right-hander 350, 16 miles an hour. Gem, phase 2, Zen, X2, Purple Hammer, spare ball. I actually quite like that.
Yeah, I don't hit it. I mean,
my only concern, and when you have 6 balls, it's a little difficult, is whether you'll be able to get left with the X2 and make it come around the corner if it burns up kind of getting there. But that would be my only slight concern. Everything else, I think the phase 2 and the Zen always roll excellent at nationals. The Gem has started to look like the premier choice for a strong ball at nationals. I see way more of those than I see realities at nationals for whatever reason.
Yeah, and those are the
Purple
1-2
Hammer,
punch of the bigger balls right now.
And then the Purple Hammers, I mean, it's been great. So, yeah, I actually quite like that, Jason, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. There's not really. I just drilled another Zen, and it got right back. Yeah,
back on the team. Never left.
I threw it back. The first shot ever, strike. Second, third, fourth, fifth. I had a 6-bagger before I finally missed bowling on patterns. I'm like, where you been?
You were like,
why were you not always there? Even we fall for it. New Christmas balls, and you take some stuff out that you shouldn't.
100%. I've got Gold Label, Exponent, IQ Ruby, IQ 78U, the new hammer, Hustle, T-Zone, and a Widow Spare. Two-handed. If you're not super slow speed, I would think that you would need something a little stronger than the Gold Label and the Exponent. I would consider
guessing by where this arsenal lies must be pretty speed dominant, though. Yeah, if you're not struggling to find something that hooks more.
You mean pretty rev dominant, right?
Rev, I'm sorry. Yes, yes.
Sorry.
100%.
I would still like to see something above the Gold Label and the Exponent. I think you've got the bases covered quite a bit further down with the Ruby and the Gold Label, and then the couple of urethane, not urethane.
The journey would be quite a bit stronger than that.
Yeah.
And still on the smoother, controllable side. So the infused would be more shape, but stronger than Gold Label, probably more similar shape-wise. There's a lot of options in there, but
I know this is it depends, but what will you guys lean towards being the first ball out of your bag journey or the Sublime? Probably neither of those, but for me, the Sublime. I've enjoyed that ball quite a bit.
I've
I
taken
feel
the
like
surface off mine and moved it up in the arsenal a little bit because there's so many balls in that phase 2 to gold label range that I felt like if I put some surface on, I could use it a little bit earlier on a little more volume as the ball after a gem reality.
I also feel like for the first ball out of the bag, I think it's also which ball you have a better understanding of. And I feel like I have a better picture of what the Sublime's going to do rather than the Journey right now.
Yeah.
So
in a league setting, I think that's probably the Sublime would probably, it's what has been the first ball in my bag a few times.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate you. I know Lenny does. And then we have another one. James B. Donations and prayers sent. Yeah, the situation sucks. Terry, thank you. I'm sure you asked the question. I will try. There it is. For Stu, in your ball reviews, I noticed you blowing your thumb hole. I tried that and my thumb hangs up. Are you running your thumb hole a little large? Yeah. I just like the fact that it kind of locks my thumb in a little bit. I feel like it keeps my thumb in a spot until my hand gets to the point where it forces it out rather than it slips, if that kind of makes sense. Because once my hand gets to the point where I break my wrist for my, to roll on my fingers, everything's coming off because I'm not like this in the ball. It can also be that I'm too lazy to put a piece of tape in. If you see me really blowing in it hard, that's usually just because I'm too lazy to go and get a piece of tape.
Yeah, you got the right results out of what you're doing there. I won't ever do that because I don't want any moisture, heat. That I wouldn't get out of it at all. So
yeah, I mean, like I say, I think with all of those things, it's a bit like tucking your pinky. Try it. If you don't like it, don't do it.
Let's do a couple more and let's get to rotogrip.
Yeah.
Marvin, thanks for the super chat. If you throw a pocket shot and leave a ring 10 and then a flat 10, what moves do you make to get the 10 out? If I leave both of them,
ball change.
Yes, sir. If I leave one ring 10, I am almost always changing either hand position or speed. Ring 10s drive me nuts because it's literally less than a half inch away from perfect. And I need the pocket to be bigger than that to really bowl good scores. I can't have a spot in the middle of my range that just won't strike. So lots of times the move for me is a couple left and a little slower. And that's a pretty standard move for me. So.
I feel like your ball in comparison to my ball, like for me, when I ring 10, I'm not as worried about it, but I think that's because my ball takes a longer path to the pocket, whereas you're much more like direct to the break point and then hook, whereas mine is kind of more rounded, I think. So I could see why it would be more annoying for you.
Yeah, well, and it's somewhat old. I don't know that I repeat enough that I feel like I could throw the same shot again, but I used to.
Eric, thanks for the super chat. Arsenal chat, 15 miles an hour, 300 RPMs. Supernova, Exotic Gem, Shiny Nova, Gold Label, Wolverine, Dark Moss, and Blackout coming. I'm the wrong person to ask because that Arsenal would force me to quit because they're all the balls that I don't like. I don't think that they're necessarily bad balls, but like Supernova, I would use Reality. Exotic Gem, I would use a Shiny Magic Gem, or I would use like a Blackout. A Shiny Nova, I just wouldn't use it. I'd have a phase 2. A Gold Label, I would have like a Sublime. A Wolverine Dark Moss, I would have a Revenant. Like it.
You actually feel it fills up pretty nicely.
No, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
In and of itself, I think it's a pretty good spread. They're just not the balls that I would use. If that.
Yeah, you just have a different one in each of those slots.
Yes. Now, this is way more of balls that Chris may have used. like shining over Chris.
These are balls I've used in Sasbos a fair amount. Not the dark moss that that would be probably that one didn't really ever get my eye, but I would have a hustle rip in that spot these days. But like you say, you have most of the bases covered, and this is very much a league cliff.
And I think a blackout is a good option between the exotic and the shiny nova. It gives you a ball that's probably a little stronger than the shiny nova, but way more angular.
Way more angular. Yeah, it gives you a different shape than any of those other balls do. So it's a good add. I think you got to, like I say, they work. And your place better than anyone because you're the one bowling it every day. So I actually like what you got. Not bad.
Let's just quickly, rapidly catch up on some of these because we're quite a bit behind.
We are.
Like 20 minutes almost. Adam, Emerald a couple of weeks ago. Cannot wait for the Summit Peak. Thank you. Appreciate you. Alex, I'm sure you asked the question. I will try and find it. Howdy, fellas. I just bought the Journey Magic Gem Thoughts for a third. I have Summit, Pace, 2 and 5. Was thinking Zigzag. I just bought the Journey and the Magic Gem. For me, if you have a Journey and a Magic Gem, you're probably looking for something underneath the Journey. IQ Ruby might be a good option.
Hustle Rip's been a favorite of ours.
Yeah. Matt's Music and Adventures. I have an absolute or a gem that I usually start with on the fresh. Will the absolute power be a complement or a replacement? Definitely a complement, not a replacement for the absolute.
It's right in between those two.
Pat, thank you. Ryan Riley, how you doing, bro? Morning. What's your guys' favorite and not so favorable releases this year? For me, it's pretty easy. My favorite ball of the year was the absolute. I've probably bowled about 45% of the games this year with that ball. So yeah. What about you, Chris?
The surprise one's the Exponent, but I understand that that's not going to be as much of a favorite for everyone. The Blackout is probably the standout ball that was a different shape and kind of stood out from the rest of the pack for me. And I like the Zen Gold label as well, but the Blackout was the one that probably gave us the biggest difference in shapes.
Thanks, Kirk. Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you and your family. Where's the Journey in your bag? The Journey for me is the strongest. Yeah, I think it's the strongest of the shiny low RG balls that we have.
Yeah.
Okay. James, what 3 balls to add to these? IQ 78, Sublime, and Vibo. Sports shot only. Well, definitely need a reality or a gem. So that would be one.
With that, I think you could go with a phase 2 as a complement in there.
2. And then for me, I kind of like if you like the IQ 78, I kind of like the Ruby, to be honest.
Okay.
I think
a ball that fits into that bottom end below the Vibo.
And I think you'd want something that come off the spot a little bit more. So Christian, thanks for continuing to donate. I have a symmetrical layout I love, but I haven't found an asymmetrical layout I love. Could I use my yes. For me, I tend to do that, and then I use sort of like a strong-ish mass bias, so maybe like a 4.5 mass bias, 4.5 inch mass bias is what I kind of tend to do. I feel like if you go either super strong or super weak with the mass biases, sometimes it can get a little hairy. It's more for like tailoring an extreme layout. Chris likes the longer mass biases a little more than I do.
Yeah, and I've gone back and forth with a couple of things. Alex has showed me a few things, and I still experiment even now. So Haven't had a ball drilled in 2 years. Well, a year ago, I went to a Pro-Am and EJ Tackett completely changed my timing. Should I get my PAP check before drilling? Yes.
Definitely.
Always a good idea after a while. But yeah, a quick check would is always a good thing. Question for both Beef and Barnzy. Thanks, Adam, for always being here. Should I have a big asymmetrical solid in between Gem and Vibo?
No, but you could have something like
A
maybe
pie would fit in there, maybe, I guess.
yeah,
Uh,
pie would be a good option. Yeah, definitely.
Absolute Power might fit in there as well.
But like I say, it's a little hard to tell when we haven't really.
Yeah, we've only thrown it for a game and a half, so. Plano Monday. Any tips on that shot lately? It changes every other week right now. Yeah. So, rev dominant two-hander. They were tight for a couple of goes there, and I think now, the hustles probably make sense in there. The rip and some of those, like I said, IQ Ruby, some balls that don't flare as much, I think have been historically good in that center anyway. And I don't think a lot of that has changed, even though the surface hooks are earlier right now.
Yeah. I do think that getting the ball too far right is quite a big problem.
Yeah. Okay, we did get to.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. He said, glad I could catch you guys live. Appreciate all you do and the knowledge you provide. All right, let's quickly spin on back to the should we do rotogrip or storm?
We can save yours for last if you want.
Either way, I don't mind. I think we've probably got
There's so many more.
Let's do rotogrip. Let's do rotogrip.
Who's the redheaded stepchild? I'm trying to figure it out.
Right. Magic Gem. I've got my list here. I did this while I was doing the Magic Gem. For me is a 73, mainly because I haven't had that much chance to use it. I've liked what I've seen so far, though. I think it might end up being higher, but right now that's where it's at, just because it's a newer ball. Clone wasn't very much use for me. 35. Tour Dynamics. I'm going to put it as a 56 because didn't use it at all on house shots because it doesn't make any sense for me on the house shot. But I've just drilled one recently and I really like what it's doing. So that number, that 56, I could easily be a 70 and I could easily see it being a 38 after the first couple of four stops. Don't fuck me, Tour Dynamics. Don't do it.
Is that a pin down one?
Infused, yeah, the down one, yeah, has been a nice one for me. I mean, there isn't really a number that I can come up with for this. I had actually had 15. I had no use for this ball at all. And
I wrote solid was the last one that caught my eye quite like this.
So. And I was about to say, and the thing that was annoying about the TNT was Simonson was able to beat my brains in with it, so it was doubly bad. Like, if the ball is really bad for you, but it's bad for everybody else, then it's not so bad. But if the ball, but it makes it worse if it's useful for other people. The duo is another one that it was just like the Trend 2 for me. It wasn't that useful. Like, the cover was too strong for how weak the core was for me to use it. Hustle Rip, I like it. I did it a 71. I haven't used the M&M at all, so that is a bang. I don't, because I haven't drilled it. All right, Chris, Magic Gem.
Magic Gem. I think it's also a 75, although I have the Gem as a 80, so it didn't necessarily replace it for me. Clone, I agree, 38. Tour Dynamics, I feel has been a little better for me. It is nichey, but it's good in that straight slot there. So 68. TNT Infused, 71 for me. I haven't used as much. 8. Duo, I also feel that it's a lot like Tour Dynamics for me. It's got a little slot. I can really only kind of use it one way, but I think it's 62 or so. It is a usable ball for me playing straighter. I drill it down and weak. A Hustle Rip is a 76 for me. It's become a very usable ball down in the bottom end of the bag. The M&M, I have as much experience, but I do feel like it's probably a play. I would say it's a 60. Possible in the bag, but so far I haven't used it much.
Okay. So let me just stop sharing that. Woo.
All right. Play catch up.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to flick through for the donations at the end also. Thanks you all for doing this for the community. I have a pin down phase 2 and I was wondering if getting another one to drill pin up would be a waste or not. Happy New Year's. For me personally, it depends what else you have in your bag, as always. But I've used that ball with a couple of different layouts, and I think that it's versatile enough, and I think that the core is strong enough that changing the layout to do up and down or whatever is an option with that ball. The stronger the core is, the more it makes sense to do a couple of different layouts. Because small changes or whatever are going to be a bit bigger if the core is more powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's only in a larger arsenal. I'm not a big fan of having 2 balls inside of a 4, 5, 6 ball arsenal so much. So, I guess real quick.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
X3 or Gem rating for X6, X3 or Gem. Gem, I would have it about 84, and the X3 I would have it about 40. Wasn't usable for me. So,
yeah.
Go ahead. It's all right.
I mean, X3 just 42 maybe. And then the Gem is, I don't know, 73. For me, it's good, not great, and it has the annoying habit of being fantastic for everybody else. So,
Adam, do you feel that during the televised finals, commentators do a better job of explaining what is happening in the lanes and the changes the bowlers are making throughout the games? I think yes.
Yeah. I don't think they do a good job of that at all, but I also can appreciate that it's a difficult thing to do in such a small time frame.
I think when I've had a chance, this is the part that I probably do a little better at. I certainly don't bring as much energy as Randy, but if you wanted to message Carissa Delbing at ppa.com, I'm happy to fill that spot for you.
Hey, Jeffrey, the spare ball I was using is the Platinum Ford Special Edition. You have to get it
that's
from
cool.
Platinum Ford in Terrell, Texas.
Yep.
So thanks for the
Go take a test drive, bring your USB-C card, and you can get one of those too.
Yeah. Steve, thanks for the super chat. I don't see a question immediately after it, so I appreciate it. Send me your TNT. Daniel, your question is, you all have been the best to listen to on my college commute this past year. I've learned so much. Thank you. Well, we appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, High Road Max, not much better. Yeah, well.
Yeah. Okay. You got Codex, Code Black, Summit, Absolute, IQ Ruby, Teal. So the Summit is going to be 1. Codex, Absolute, Code Black, IQ Ruby would be the order I would have those in.
A lot of ASIM there in the middle.
You sorry, what?
A lot of ASIM there in the middle.
Yes. I think that you could consider one of the Sublime Journey infused
triangle. Yeah.
You could definitely consider one of those. That would be, especially if you've got lower speed and medium rev rate, I think the infused might be quite nice. I think you'll see a bit more back end hook out of that than the other ones.
Yeah.
What we got here? My 14-pound 4-ball Arsenal, good for league. Reality, Infinite Physics, Exponent, Hustle, Rip. Tournament season starting in a couple of weeks. Looking to add a couple. Okay.
There's a fan of the show right there. You got
some of our favorites right there.
Yeah.
I would think that the blackout would be a good option to add off the Infinite Physics, a more angular ball off the Infinite Physics, and then I think that for me personally, I would like to see again one of those Sublime infused type balls to be kind of off the Exponent.
Yeah, bigger, stronger.
Just ball. Something a bit more angular. Off the Exponent would be where I was. Joe is left-handed as well. Joe is our friend from Detroit, Thunderball, Chris.
Oh, yeah. I gotcha.
A long time listener. So yeah. So yeah, that they would be my recommendations, Joe.
Quick rating on the Reality Strike.
On a house shot, like a 68, on tour, probably like a 77. It was way better on tour for me than it was at home. Whereas the Infinite Physics was like an 83 on the house shot and like a 37 on tour.
Right.
Like that ball broke my heart because I thought I was going to. I used it one tournament in at Skillings' place in Oklahoma, and it looked amazing. And then it was absolutely shite everywhere else.
It was no good on the regular tour for me, and then I went on the senior tour. I'm like, well, it'll be way better out here. And it just never got in the bag. It was wild. And then come home, ball of Sasba, ball of Plano, instantly. I mean, 250s with my eyes closed. It was crazy how much better it was.
It's wild, that ball. Like, just wild.
Is Reality 100? Well, no ball's 100, but she's sneaking up in the 9.0 range for sure.
Yeah, Reality is like, for me, is probably like a strong 87.
Yeah, it's probably the highest rated ball over the last 2-3 years.
Chris, I still haven't got your shirt sent off, but I will do. It says, hey guys, overslept this morning. Stu, you feeling better? Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I actually bowled for the first time in a few weeks the other day. And it didn't feel like total shit. So that was, yes. I was so scared. I'm like, oh my God, the tour season's 10 days away. But it was good. I'm going back again today. More punishment. Ace Frankly, thank you for being part of the show. Happy holidays, guys. Ball check, please. Gem, Exotic Gem, Journey, Revenant, Low Rev. Looks good to me.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gap.
Yeah, I think that you've spaced those 4 balls out nicely. Yeah, I like it. Good work.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with that.
It says,
oh, thanks.
Chris is really good at commentary.
Face made for radio, but I got what I got. So,
Warren, does a strong cover on a weaker court cause the ball to shape and roll straighter and opposite for a weak cover on a strong core? For me, the strong cover on a weak core makes the ball pick up really soon. And then I feel like it's like struggles down the lane a little bit. And then in turn, I can't really embrace that. So I try to get it through the front part of the lane. And I'm fairly good at that, which then makes the ball really jumpy. Like it's really hard to control because it doesn't bleed off any of its energy because the core's a little weaker. It's why I don't really use the IQ tours very often.
It certainly makes the balls every once in a while they hit a home run with IQ, like IQ Tour.
Yeah.
But in general, tour dynamics is very much the same way right now. It makes it a little nichey. And every once in a while you get one like the X2, which is a really clean cover on a super strong core. And every once in a while that looks like a home run, but it ends up they're a little bit fewer and far in between. Balls that tend to be a little easier to hit home runs with are strong covers, strong cores, weak cores, because it all matches up a little better. What do we got next? Marion, welcome back. Arsenal Pin Down Gem Reality Phase 2. High Road Cosmos Bowling South Point Bowling Center January with the Clone and Tour Dynamics Fit. Any others? You don't have a lot on the bottom end. Clone would be a different version of what you have in there for sure. Although I think instead of Clone, I would probably go with the Blackout myself.
I think this might be a case of the Clone and the Tour Dynamics are giveaway balls there. But yes, I agree with you.
I got you.
That an angular ball would be better.
Those, I mean, they do fit in your gaps because of where you have everything set up. But I think there might be.
If it was one or the other of the Clone and the Tour Dynamics, I think we'd probably suggest the Tour Dynamics. And if you had to add one other ball, I think what Chris said, I wholeheartedly agree with. The Vibo.
Yeah.
So I have my least favorite ball of the year because of what it meant, even though I like what it looks like. I wish this ball didn't exist because Bill would still be here with us. But
yeah,
this ball is fucking cool to look at. It's got the old HSP logo. It's got Bill's signature on it. And of course,
this is the original. The original reactive ball, High Score Products, which was Bill's original company. Cleaning products, yeah. Actually.
But yes, that is the that's both my least favorite and most appreciated ball of the year. I don't know what's going on. Oh, you good to go, Chris? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that. I think it's cool to look at. Like I say, I'd much rather it didn't exist, and we still had Bill yelling at us for not wearing a logo.
Tyler, thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I've been hearing the absolute power being compared to the virtual gravity.
Whew. I mean, these are strong calls. The virtual gravity is one of the best asymmetrical balls of all time. That's a strong call. Less than a week into this ball. So
yeah, I didn't get to throw it, so I can't say.
Absolute banger.
But like, yeah, from what I saw, I mean, virtual gravity was a game changer. You saw those going in the lane by everyone. We'll have to see. But
basically, when you bowled league, the ball on the rack was either orange and blue, or it was teal and blue. They were either using the one or they were using that one.
Right.
And it was ridiculous. And then, of course, there was the Black Widow or whatever. But yeah. I don't like comparing it to balls that are 15 years old either, because I think it's so hard to think that through.
Whoops, sorry. Thank you.
That's kind of them. Hey, Pat.
Super chat, but didn't go through. Right-handed, 16 pounds, 375 rub rate. A couple of fresh covers on Sport PBA. What would you suggest?
I mean, reality is one that we always like. Yeah. And then, I mean, I know it's another asymmetrical ball, but we kind of like the blackout.
Yeah, to take advantage of it once it opens up a little bit. Yeah, and then the trifecta in there of balls. So has Brady been on the lanes yet?
He has. Flashing lights are way too much of a distraction for him. So he isn't necessarily all about it. Got tickets for the PBA Players Championship for Christmas. Either you're all going to be there. We will be. Hopefully, you've got tickets for the TV show, and we'll definitely be there.
Yeah. We'll be in the PBA League there this year too, I guess, right?
So, yeah, but no TV there.
Just the Bowl TV, right? What do you think of my arsenal? Eternity Pie, Summit, Zen, Sublime, Phase 2, Wolverine DM, Idol, Cosmos, Night Road.
Yeah, like it. A lot of good options. I would probably consider having the Cosmos with a bit more surface to make it to be a complement to your Phase 2. But yeah, overall, I like it. There's a lot of balls in there that I would use. Like, I feel like even though I'm not necessarily using the Summit and the Dark Moss, that arsenal would play for me. Yeah. Maybe make sure you keep the surface on the pie, because I feel like when the pie shines up, it kind of gets pretty long for me.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Brand new sign, little Christmas present. I got to figure out how to adjust some camera settings so you can see it when it's actually on. It is as bright as the sun. Maybe. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I can light up. This thing is on top of the Luxor.
I was about to say, did you borrow this off Griswold?
I turned on and went, oh my God, that thing is so bright. Before I realized it actually had some settings, but it's even on low. It's pretty bright. It's very cool. It's one of my favorite presents of the year.
Right. Does Pat matter? It 100% matters.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if your release is very inconsistent, it's not going to matter as much, but you kind of want to know if you're a lower track player or a higher track player. So yes, it does make some difference. If you're hooking it, if you're throwing it dead straight, like end over end, then no, it really doesn't make much difference. Rob, love the show. Thank you. Doganaut, frequent contributor. Merry Christmas, sirs. Hope you had a wonderful time. Is it possible to drill strong balls weaker to use them on lighter conditions? Maybe I like the carry, but it burns up too quickly in my house. It isn't really possible to use a very strong ball on lighter oil conditions, because generally the very strong balls have very strong covers.
Yeah.
And cover is pretty dominant.
I use this a lot on short patterns, but not when the lanes really hook. That doesn't work. You end up having to you can go to like strong covers on weak cores, and then drill them that way. But yeah, they do exactly. You're seeing it right. They burn up and then they puke. And so it ends up not being useful for very long.
Yeah. So that is, sorry. Well, I believe we've got about $500 worth of donations.
What do all successful two-handers have in common? Balance of the line, stays low, extends through the shot. I mean, I don't know about stays low, but one thing that a lot of them do at the start is they don't get low early, because you get low early, you can actually get somewhat steep, and then you just kind of pound in the lane. The other thing, if you watch their hips, they don't turn away as much as you think they do. Their shoulder range turns, but their hips don't turn away from their target. And because you see so much more rotation in the top of the torso, you tend to think that they're turning their whole body. And that's what beginners do and amateurs do. But the pros do not do very much of that. If you actually watch them from behind and couldn't see their other hand, you wouldn't necessarily know that they were any different from a one-hander, especially guys like Troop and Vi, who basically look like one-handers. They just have another hand on the ball. Starting 14-pound three-ball arsenal should have a magic gem and reality, medium speed, low revs. What should other two balls be? You already have two strong ones, so you're going to need some balls to get down the lane, I would think. Stu's favorite is infused. I like Exponent. I like Zen Gold on that end, and maybe a weaker ball of some sort, which has been Hustle Rip kind of thing for us, or IQ Ruby.
Definitely. I mean, if you're starting a three-ball arsenal, are you saying that you've got a magic gem or a reality, and you want what should the other two balls be? I would only have one of those, like Chris is saying. And then for me, I like the virtual energy blackout followed by infused. I think that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's finish these super chats off and then get back to finishing off the storm balls. Which of the newer balls should be a replacement for the supernova magic gem? Of the newer balls, that would be the one that would make the most sense.
Yeah, that's the one we've seen so far. You don't know enough about the absolute power yet, but
yeah, I don't think it's going to be strong enough, to be honest. For
probably
me.
It's not early enough. Supernova, Reality, Eternity, Vivo, Fate, Revenant, and an IQ Emerald. But I'm getting a new ball. What should I get? High revs, by the way. Reality, Eternity, Vivo, Fate. I would go with one of either Stu's Banger. They're the infused. But I think one of those balls in that range, whether it's Zen or I don't know if you need Zen Gold since you have a blackout already. I think I'd probably skew more towards Phase 2 infused Sublime range myself.
Another option I think is maybe the Exponent. So you have
that's a different.
I think that the Vivo, the Fate, and the Revenant are all, and the IQ Emerald are all fairly angular balls, like just in that way.
Something on the smoother control side.
Yeah, I think an Exponent might be a good option. Spencer, hey guys, any experience polishing a Phase 2? Yes, lots of experience. I did that quite a bit when I was trying to have lower RG shiny balls. Now I've got thousands of them. So I don't really need to do it. It was very much a means to an end. It's smoother than you would want for a shiny ball in that spot. I think you're way better just taking something like a Journey or the Sublime to fill that gap. Mike, doesn't require a super chat to get a chance for the ball. Change it from giveaway to a raffle. Okay, but you're still entered. Thanks, Adam. You're the best. Stu, lefties rule, and we miss spares. I mean, look at your photo, bro. I'm not going to argue with you. Whatever you want. All right.
We actually caught up.
Yeah, we did. And just quickly, we've had while the show's been on, I'm not saying we're responsible for all of them. There hadn't been any donations for since before I did it. The previous donation was 18 hours previous. Since I donated, there's been 16 donations, and we've got about $500, $600 added. So thanks
that's awesome,
to everybody.
guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah.
That is
I
great.
think we added $560 to the.
All right, let's get to some storm balls and let's kind of see what the overall rankings are.
Yeah. Share screen. Sorry, I was set up and then you helped.
I hope.
When we got earlier. So, okay, here we go. Summit. Let me just get my tablet of choice. Right, Summit. Not really a fan. 39. IQ Ruby showed promise, but then there was just loads of other balls that I for me personally, I think it's a way better ball. Anyway, DNA, not really a fan. 23. Journey, started strong, cooled a little, may come back. 63. Blackout, 68. IQ, so far, I've been quite impressed. The Revenant was really good for me, 77. And then my banger of the year, the Absolute, gets a 90.
Whoa. Whoa.
Well, I mean, like literally, I used it. Like,
yeah, I know you do use it all the time.
I mean, I'm literally driving around pro shops collecting them at the minute.
You used it so much that Ryan put it in his 5-ball, well, his college 3-ball arsenal. Because college bowling has the dumbest rule in history because that's what they've always done. So you get the spare ball, and then everybody's required, if you're under the age of 30, you have to have a urethane ball. And then, so he gets a 3-ball arsenal.
Donnie, the giveaway / raffle, you either have to do a super chat or you have to donate to Lenny's medical fundraiser. The link is in the chat on YouTube, right?
We are way up towards the top.
Yeah. Or like I say, there isn't a limit. We've had $2 donations, we've had $100 donations today, so there are a lot of options. And then I will bring it up, and we will just do a random number generator. Right now we're at 70 on this side and 16 over there, so it'll be 1 to 86. Because I like you all, we're going to give away a couple of t-shirts as well. So, right, Christopher, let's get started.
All right, Summit, which I did not love as much, but other people did. So I have 41. IQ Ruby, which actually just hooks too much for a lower end ball, but I have it at 50. I agree with DNA in the 27 range. Did not, it mostly mismarketed. I just think it wasn't that strong of a cover. It's not how it rolled. Journey. Man, there's just so many balls around there, and I don't know if I had a real chance to give it a go. But being smoother and not my thing. 56. The Vibo has been a banger for me. I have 80.
I thought you might have. I thought you might have given it a little more than the 80.
I was looking at 82 is kind of where I really wanted to go with it, and it's probably So IQ 78. I think it's going to be useful. 56. Revenant, not as great for me. 48.
Ooh.
Absolute. Been around, used it some. Wasn't great for me on tour. 68.
Yeah, okay.
Like many things, you make me rethink what I'm doing. I had to throw it back out in the bag again. So
just one sec. Somebody was asking for Lenny's medical fundraiser, so there it is again.
There you
go. So thanks for all the info. Nice to have you on in the background while I'm at work. Appreciate you. Michael Savage, great show. Happy holidays. Thanks a lot. Gap Filler suggested low rev rate righty. 14 to 15 miles an hour. Current Arsenal, Magic Gem, Absolute, TNT infused camo, Dynamics, spare ball. For me, you are screaming out for something in between the camo and that infused that's like a cleaner ball. Like the Revenant would have been my answer here for forever. Hustle Ripped would be a decent bit stronger than the camo. Yeah, I would think one of those would be good.
Yeah, I mean the slot between gem and infused is a little bit up there too, and that's where a pie could fit in that space. Maybe this absolute power coming. Yeah, I think that's kind of. Since it's the only option, will the 78U be used as much as the pitch black and purple hammer on tour? Those balls are defunct for this year, so it's going to get looked at. I don't think it'll get used for as long, but I mean it seems to do what you're wanting to do out of urethane. So it's just whether how good your speed control is, how much you can make it useful.
Yeah. Like for me, I think it's going to be used a lot because I think that the player's skill sets dictate that it needs to be. Thank you very much. Where are we at? Travis. Good morning, guys. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Travis. Hope you had a nice one over there in Houston. Can the infused and the absolute go in the same arsenal? Same question for the Vibo and the Fate. Can the infused and the absolute go in the same arsenal? Yes, they are both in my arsenal. Can the blackout and the Fate? Yes.
Yeah, I think those are all complementary pieces. I don't think any of them really stand on the other one. Yeah. Absolute's more of a smoother pearl, ASIM. I think Vibo is more angular. Infused and the Fate are enough different core wise to be used off of each other as well. Hey, real quick, let's go through the overall thing for anybody joining here. Haven't looked at the overall rankings, and that's kind of
thanks for show. Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So here are the Storm. So I have my top three for Storm are Absolute, Revenant, and the Vibo. Your top three for Storm are the Vibo, Virtual Energy Blackout, followed by the followed by Absolute, and then I guess you've got a tie between the Journey and the IQ 78. Not a good Storm year for you, Chris.
Not as much this year, which is a little unusual. But
rotogrip. For me, it is the infused, the magic gem, and the ripped. I think that makes sense. I think for me, rotogrip was hit and miss. Like the ones I liked, I really liked. The ones I didn't like, really didn't like them.
And the overall average for me is much higher with rotogrip. I have a lot of rotogrip balls in my bag.
Yeah, you go ripped, magic gem, and the infused. So we have the same top three, just slightly different order.
Mm-hmm.
And then down to global. I mean, we really should just do a top two for global because there's way less balls. But for me, it was Sublime, Exponent, Pi. For you, it was Exponent, Gold Label, and the Sublime. So yeah, that was the overalls. You have the Exponent,
Vibo.
I'm just looking. The Exponent, the Virtual Energy, and then I think the Magic Gem. No, the Hustle Ripped.
Yeah, Hustle Rip has been
Yeah. And then for me, I have got Absolute, Infused, and the Sublime, I believe. Yeah, Absolute, Sublime, and Infused. So I had a couple right at the end of the year that looked really good for me. So interesting. I think it made me think about some of the balls we've used during the year. I've also beginning to realize that I've been so blown away by how many people have donated to Lenny and how many people have done this that we're going to give 2 balls away. It's the end of the year, so thank you. I didn't think that this would go over quite so well, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been wild. Thank you to everybody.
David, thank you.
Thank you. Christian West says Arsenal check. He's got the alert, the phase 2, the exponent trend, and the new blue. Two-handed rightly, slightly red dominant. Yeah, I kind of like it. I think that you could consider something maybe a more angular symmetrical ball.
Yeah.
The trend,
Like one of the hustles, perhaps.
yeah. I mean, or even
IQ
like
Ruby.
Infused as well. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. Thanks. Yeah, Chris, over here on Lenny's thing, I have it at about.
You have a
I have a list. So
perfect.
So all right, let's just give it one more minute and then we'll get to it.
Dark Code Proton IQ 78 are in the bag. What am I missing? Medium rev 16 head. Dark Code Proton. Well, you have 2 big ones and then are urethane. So yeah, any of those of the shiny symmetrical triage of balls that we have at Journey, Sublime, Infused, Zen Gold Label.
Yeah,
any one of those would give you an option.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I would go with the shiny, something shiny because you have a couple of bigger pieces already.
I would definitely go symmetrical, like you were saying. Also,
yeah.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Can't wait for 2024. Thanks, Brent. Nails down a chalkboard here for Chris. What do you guys think of the old Rico layout without a balance or weight hole? It just doesn't really exist.
Yeah, I've tried it a couple of times, but you actually need the hole there to make it flare enough to really pick
and
up.
Also,
it's just
putting a layout in the middle of your grip isn't a layout.
No,
like
because everybody's PAP changes. So
yeah.
It's 4 5/8 for me. It's 5 3/4 for Stu. It's 6 inches for Mika. And that's 2 3/4 for Mike Fagan. So I mean, it's not
just wow, we've got like people are firing in now. We've added the extra ball. Nick Smith, one of the guys who works at Brunswick, actually has his channel. If you have a look, he actually did a video the other day about how that layout's basically useless now. They don't have a hole, and he is a big Rick Hamlin fan, so for him to say it, it probably was a little painful.
Yeah, Ray Edwards showed me that layout first before I ever heard of it.
I don't even need to. David, thanks everything, gentlemen. Happy New Year. Appreciate you. Thanks for being part of the show. Chris, thanks for the super sticker. Happy holidays. Thanks for sharing the knowledge with us. I appreciate it, Max. Thank you. Jason, happy New Year. Thanks for the content. Gets himself another entry. Appreciate you thinking it through. Bo, nice. Active Gamer, Merry Christmas and New Year. Love the content and all the great info. Brian, thanks guys for what you do. Appreciate you. Arsenal check. I'm pretty rev dominant righty. I think they put like emojis. It doesn't come across. I have a Pi, a Vibo, a Zen Gold, an Exponent, a Ruby, and a Ripped. I was wondering if there's any holes. No, I actually quite like that options.
Yeah. Yeah, being rev dominant, Pi is probably plenty strong for anything you bull on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Good
one.
Good effort.
Well done.
Donated
sorry, as well. Thank you to Dead Polymers. Derek, I have a Halo. Wondering what would be a good replacement. This is a little more your speed.
Halo. Yeah, I mean a Halo. You could. I think a clone, if you put surface on it, wouldn't be far away. I think that you could go with the magic gem, although it'd probably be a bit stronger overall. Yeah. It's just, that's an awkward one. Chris Martin just donated. Thank you. Appreciate you, Chris. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for donating to Lenny. Hey guys, what ball, if any, in the current SPI lineup comes close to the Shorelock? I have a reality, but that seems to roll slightly differently. Yeah, I mean, for me, the reality probably is the closest. The Shorelock is still pretty strong. If you don't like the reality, I'm guessing it's because it's a little bit more forward. So maybe consider a magic gem. That would probably be the next best option. Arsenal, gem, ghost, jackal, phase 2, hypercell fused. Where would the Vibo fit? Would the Vibo fit? Gem, ghost, jackal, ghost, phase 2, hypercell fused. Yeah, I mean, it would be stronger than you fused.
In between those two, more angular.
I think it would be more angular than the ghost.
More angular than the rest. Yeah. So, I think it just fits in between there. Well, since the other guys, none of them are 6 foot tall, I guess so.
No, Packy's a giraffe.
Oh, true. But he is by himself, so we got him by about 5.5 feet.
Although me and you together probably would struggle to dunk a ball, and Packy apparently can still dunk a basketball. So
I have no proof that he has enough athleticism to do that.
He does have a funny story about when he was a sub teacher.
Yeah,
and
he dunked it in the player kid
and he
game.
dunked it in PA, and one of the kids goes, "Whoa, white boy got hops!" And Packy's response was, "That's Mr. H, and yes, I do."
His channel is a lot of fun. I'm a big believer in authenticism, and he is who he is, and I think that's really what makes his channel work. He's funny, he's an intelligent guy, and a pretty free-spirited individual.
Thoughts on policing the infinite physics alert replacement? No, not really.
Too smooth.
Yeah.
I tried that.
Yeah, we'll see you there, Adam. Hopefully you make it through the PTQ. Reality. Is that absolute power? Fate, Ruby, PB, Spareball, thoughts.
Pitch black and spare.
Pitch black, okay.
Absolutely.
I think that you're missing a medium middle ball, like Exponent or phase 2 is where I would.
Yep.
Jacob Moore, last one. Thanks, guys. Need a ball recommendation. Two-handed dominant righty. I have the Vibo, the Hustle USA, and a spare ball right now. Looking for something for the fresh. I think you're screaming out for the Exponent.
Yeah, Exponent. Hustle USA kind of covers the Tour Dynamics kind of slot.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a symmetrical, a little more than the Hustles, but not Astrophysics.
Okay, that makes more sense.
There we go. I'm like,
Okay. Then I think that the Vibo would be an option also.
okay, yeah.
Four ball check. Eternity Pie, Pin Down, Journey, Hustle, Eminem, and a Purple Hammer. You
Yeah.
have a gigantic gap between the Journey and the Hustle Eminem. I mean, gigantic.
Exponent fits in that range.
Yeah, I don't know whether I can express how gigantic, but gigantic. So, all right, let me let me quickly log on to this thing of Letty's.
All right. So as much as they hate, we're going to cut off the super chats here. So
yeah.
while he adds all that up, we're going to put this back up again and kind of show a little bit of what's highest rated balls on the global side. Obviously, there's 3 of my highest. We're down there. The gold label, the Exponent, the Sublime was one of Stu's 3 favorite of all brands. The Vibo was high. I can't control the screen, but Vibo was very high. TNT Infused was one of Stu's bangers, along with the Absolute, which wins his ball of the year. I think the Vibo tied for me with Exponent as a ball of the year. I think the Vibo I probably should rank that a little bit higher as far as what it does for me versus what. While Exponent is always in my bag, I do like the Vibo's versatility for my end of having a cleaner ball that can do a lot of different things. So as you can see, we have a few balls that maybe not as much of a bangers. Probably from a Utah standpoint, maybe a few more zeros, so to speak, than we're used to seeing. Those guys do a great job, and so we don't end up with too many that don't fit in. But thanks, Rick, for also donating.
Perfect. So we got
really,
there was 34 donations during the show. I'm pretty sure the majority of them were names I recognized. So that's awesome. During the show, Lenny's thing went up right around $900. So
that's great, guys.
That's awesome. Right. So we had 103 super chats and we had 35 over there. So that is 138. So it's going to take me a minute and a day to figure out how I'm going to get there. But here we go. Right. All right. Well, damn. Oof. Is 103 a record? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a
share screen. Random number generator. I haven't hit it yet, so it's not 5. 40 and 34. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make. So remember those numbers, Chris. I'll just write them down here.
40 and 34. Got it.
40, 34. Right. I am going to. We said there was 35 super chats, didn't we? So that is 103. Not 35 for Lenny. So I'm going to give 2 t-shirts away for the donations. 123. And then 113.
Yep, we're leaving January 1st. Going with Ryan out to team trials this year. Not eligible for the youth team anymore. So he's going to have to go heads up with the big boys.
Right. And I'll give away 1 backpack. Generate. Oh, man. 41. Man, it was all at the same point.
It's
all right. Well, thank you. I will I will go through this, and well, I guess this is not going to be that difficult. All right, you keep talking, Chris.
All right. Yeah, we have a couple. His ball of the year is the Summit. Had the Vibo stack up. Yeah, it was probably my ball of the year. I think it's a banger, as you said. So, we will start off at the beginning of the year again. It will get a little trickier. I'll be in Vegas and ever.
This just proves that good things happen to good people. 34 actually was Greg. So message me, Greg. You want a ball? And then James B, you actually won the other ball. So if you message me, email me beefandbarnzy@gmail.com and I will get to you. The backpack chat number 41 was Jason. So message me.
Beefandbarnzy.com and spell it all out. There's not an ampersand. It's just Beef and Barnzy.
And then on the donations, let me think this through a second.
Well, while he's looking that
Tom
up.
McIntyre. Sorry, Tim McIntyre.
Tim McIntyre.
Tim McIntyre and
Mark, thanks for joining the show whenever you get a chance. So always appreciate you.
And William Patton.
William Patton. Thanks, guys, for all the donations.
So, yeah, I appreciate you guys. It was awesome. Thanks for being part of the show. I know this show went on for a while. I'm blown away that we got this many people wanting to be part of the show, wanting to donate. Yeah, this was an awesome show. Yeah.
Yes, I did shoot 300 with the Vibo. What stops are you looking most excited about? For me personally, it's going to be the ones Ryan's are at the same time. So Wichita, U.S. Open, and the Masters. Masters is always the hit for me. Still looking for the one hit wonder, and see if we can pull off the 4 majors. So thought I had a swing at it last year, and gave away a match I had no business giving away. That was a bad one. So to the guys, Jim, send me a message with the ball you want and your address. Jason, we got 3 calls on the backpack, so let me know. Also need your address. But yeah, for me, the tournament I'm most looking forward to is the TOC. I love going back to Akron. I do quite well there. So look out. Chris's videos are going to be up tomorrow. Mine probably over the weekend. I got a little bit behind with being sick. So thanks again, guys. Happy New Year. Thanks for being part of the show. Yeah, a pretty incredible year. So hopefully 2024 we continue to grow. Let your friends know about it. And we will see you in the new year. Looking forward to it. So in between now and the next time, sending this year out with a bang. So please support the sponsors that support us: Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Coolwick, Bowler Smart, Firelight Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and Platinum Ford. Happy holidays, everyone. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. See you later, guys.